How do you get the courage? Because I can imagine like you're running around Manhattan with all these finance bros and you're kind of sucked into that world. And it's like, how do you find the space, the time, the courage to like stop and look within? Because I feel like a lot of people, maybe guys especially, I'm not sure, but a lot of people get stuck in that, whether they are distracted by having kids or having a career, or they're just keeping up with the paycheck, right? How do you, or what did you do to find that space and the courage? Because it takes courage. We've talked about this in past conversations, the courage to talk about your spirituality in a world of venture capital and private markets. So people don't think you're a Yahoo and you're still, you know, smart and brilliant and doing all the things you're doing, but being in alignment and true to you.
Yeah, like some people still think I'm a Yahoo. Like you're not gonna get away from that.
I mean, yeah.
But that's also a form of resistance. Like,
yeah,
if you know me, I'm like pretty kind of clear-headed. And I, you know, the stuff I do, I do know pretty well. But I'm sober for over 10 years, and the culture isn't just unique to the markets and finance. I mean, in many business cultures, and even just broadly, there's a huge connection of us connecting to each other socially through some form of libation, right? Of some form of, you know, salve that loosens us up and makes us more comfortable to spend time together. And I was all about it. I used to smoke a pack a day. I used to sit in the old Irish pubs and drink a case of beer in a night and just like talk shop, right? And then varying degrees of that. You know, I never got heavy into the kind of the drug scene and that, but that's a slippery slope, you know, for people also. And that contributes to the feeling. And that feeling is fatigue, burnout, exhaustion, things like this. So like my hangovers were at a point, because it's steady, it's regular, right? Like my pattern was honestly like, okay, it's this day, I'm feeling good, I'm going to be social, shake hands, kiss babies, like do the business, move the ball down the field, and would have a great time and a great night, and connect with lots of people. But the next day I'd have a brutal hangover. So the next day was a bit of a wash, right? I'd rest the next day. But then the day after I'd feel good again.
Right.
So we start the cycle. And so it was like, you know, 50% of my time was that. And it gets to a point where, for me, it got to a point where you're still getting a bit older. Your hangovers are getting worse. You're working on various forms of business that come with their own stress, right? So, you know, a shareholder call or a finance call or a, you know, just a business call with a stakeholder on a hangover day was like, ugh, right? It's just, you don't have the juice for it. And that's a form of pain. And so you get to a place, for me, I got to the place where I was like, you know, my body's telling me I can't do it all, that I can't keep up this pace. This isn't sustainable. I feel the trigger for people is different, but yeah, when it started to come up for me and I started to shift, I took like a ton of flack, like communally in the community, at least for the people I was connected to. It was a bunch of different things that came up for me, like creative energy emerged. Those energies were leaving. My awareness and kind of my inner compass was strengthening as I was navigating through these various things. And look, it's your journey.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it's not everybody's journey is the same. And that's why I mean this like vision of this is what your life is supposed to look like on paper isn't it isn't accurate, right? Your life can look like a lot of things on paper.
Mhm.
No two are going to look exactly the same. And so embracing some of that helps you, I think, find your way home. But as I was sharing this, I took like just a shit ton of flack and like trade papers writing me up and comments in discussion forums. And it was like it's pretty like
Interesting.
solo place you found yourself, like
Yeah.
pretty isolated that way. Because the social norm of the community was what it was.
Mm.
But what
Mhm.
I was feeling was that my path needed to change, because that wasn't going to be sustainable.